E.G. Marshall, Luther Adler, Thomas Gomez, Marion Selby. Starring tonight on Playhouse 90. Playhouse 90.
Good evening. Welcome to the opening of Playhouse 90's third season. Tonight's presentation is a drama written especially for this series by David Karp. A drama of high intrigue, of conspiracy and counter-conspiracy, the story of a plot that shook the world, the plot to kill Stalin. Tonight's play is based upon extensive research using maximum information available to the Western world. In just 30 seconds, Act 1 of The Plot to Kill Stalin.
Comrade Molotov is here with the new ambassador. Will you see them now?
Can he see us now?
For 10 minutes.
The ambassador's calling on Premier Stalin for the first time. It'd be highly insulting to limit his visit to 10 minutes.
My dear Molotov, the party congress meets tomorrow. The old man is much too busy for diplomatic foolishness.
Oh, kindly lower your voice.
You will limit your call to 10 minutes. 1 minute of which is already gone.
You go too far, Alexander Krushchev. I shall speak to Stalin concerning your arrogant behavior. Gentlemen.
Comrade Malenkov is here.
Have him come in. Or Racine. In 8 minutes, call me. The old man wants Molotov and his Latin visitors out. Comrade Malenkov.
Good evening, Alexander. Kind of you to see me so promptly. Is the old man busy?
Molotov is in there with him now. Later on, let me see.
Oh, now look here, Alexander. When I sat at this desk, I knew very well what the old man's appointments were. So do you. Now, I'll be frank. I'm concerned about delivering the Central Committee report tomorrow.
I meant to call and congratulate you on your appointment. Please accept my congratulations now.
And you interpret the old man's appointing me as a mark of favor.
Favor? You were chosen to deliver the most important address, the first party congress in 13 years. You asked me if that's a mark of favor. If Comrade Molotov were invited...
I know what Comrade Molotov's reaction would be, but I've learned restraint. And the place I learned it was right here, when I was the old man's secretary.
What do you want to know?
Alexander, you know as well as I the force of custom in the party. It's not lightly changed. Stalin should deliver this report. You know it, so does everybody else. When I rise tomorrow instead of Stalin, the effect will be electrifying, to say the least.
I envy you the honor, Georgi.
Do you also envy me the enemies I'll make? I realize that enmity is the price of promotion, but have I been promoted? The old man merely has deputized me with no intention of promoting me. I think I would rather the honor should pass to someone else.
It's a very interesting problem. I'll give you an appointment later this evening, and you can ask him.
I see I'll get no answer here.
Not from me, certainly.
Never mind. I know the old man has a lot on his mind. I won't disturb him. The Congress meets tomorrow.
I don't think you could disturb him if you wanted to.
Eh?
He's so fond of you.
Oh, yes.
Peace, as you know, sir, is the deepest concern of our nation and of our people. I hope we may ensure that peace by this sort of contact.
Yeah. You know, I've seen enough of war to know that it's madness. We who have suffered it know the true meaning of war. The nations today are war makers who have never felt the heel of an invader. They've never known the bitterness of burning their own homes and farms. I believe meetings such as this lead to mutual understanding. And mutual understanding, my dear ambassador, is the key to survival. And survival in this atomic age is a mutual concern.
Presented the cake, but complete. The people will be proud. Thank you. At the reception, then. I'll look for you. Thank you. Remain behind, Sozov, to protest the insulting and arrogant behavior of Alexander Krushchev.
Oh? How is he insulting and arrogant, Vyacheslav?
For myself, it means nothing. I'm immune to discourtesy. It's the function of a diplomat to be immune. But in the presence of distinguished foreign visitors, well, such discourtesy is barbaric. To give 10 minutes to a new ambassador is unforgivable.
Was the interview concluded in less than 10 minutes?
Oh, no. I deliberately allowed it to run longer. Yes.
Then it is you who have been arrogant, Comrade Molotov.
I?
For Krushchev fulfills the function of allotting my time. So much for this visitor, so much for that. You have disrupted that function with your comic opera visitors. Now leave.
What, so?
Leave. Have you ever seen a wolf, Alexander Krushchev?
Not since my childhood.
The halls here are filled with them.
Oh, those kind of wolves.
Now, what have you been up to?
I've been listening to electrical transcriptions of Marshal Voroshilov's private conversations.
Does he talk like a guilty man?
Voroshilov is a fool and an old man.
What are you hiding?
I'm hiding nothing.
Look me in the eye. I don't like people who look away. What are you hiding? Is it pity?
Voroshilov is an old man. He'll die soon enough.
I am an old man. Will I die soon enough?
That's not what I meant. In any case, you are a Georgian. And we know of cases where Georgians have lived to be 140 years.
What sort of nonsense are you babbling? What do I care for other Georgians? I'm old. I need no doctors to tell me that. I'm surrounded by wolves, eager to devour me. But I'm a peasant. And a peasant knows how to deal with wolves. Pity. Pity is a poison. Today's friend stabbed you during the night. As for his friendship, 6 inches into your backbone, there's his friendship. I have no friends. No living friends. I want no living friends.
Am I not your friend?
No. And be grateful for it. The same men who would destroy me will one day destroy you, and for no other reason than this. You called me friend.
I'll chance the danger.
140-year-old Georgians, It's a dream. But I'll last for some time yet. Long enough to see these plotters and incompetents in their graves. We are at war. Nobody understands this but me. Khrushchev babbles to me of his peasant, and not a word about food for my armies. Molotov, his old woman's nerves. When we should be cold and hard and unrelenting. Malenkov. Softness. Rotten softness. No one in the Politburo understands the facts of war but myself.
Remove some of them.
Why some of them? Why not all? Are you allied with some of them? Which ones?
I'm not allied with any of them. You certainly know that.
All of them must go, without exception. And with them their friends, their apparatus, right down to the ground. This time we'll discover all of our enemies. From fools like Voroshilov to plotters like Beria.
How do you want to start?
I've started. Tomorrow, the Politburo will be dissolved. And in its place, we shall have a presidium of 25 members and 11 alternates.
So many? In effect, aren't you telling them they're part of a meaningless collection? Is that what you want?
I want them to know that they no longer control policy. I want them to feel the ground moving beneath their feet. Beria first. Arrests in the Ukraine. And not by Beria's police, but by a military body.
Arrests in the Ukraine would involve Khrushchev.
Khrushchev next.
May I suggest that arrests be made in the trade commissions? It would give Mikoyan something to think about.
Mikoyan next.
If they were Jewish as well. Kaganovich is a Jew. We know that anti-Semitism is politically useful.
Yes, but let's not make a point of that. Not just now. But Kaganovich must go. All of them must go.
One more thing, Comrade Stalin. The order in which the photographs are to be displayed at the celebration of the party's anniversary.
Beria. Khrushchev. Molotov next to me. And then Malenkov. Beria. Khrushchev. Put the rest where you please.
Just see you tomorrow, you'll be scratching your heads and wondering what it all means. The old man is a genius at this sort of thing. Encouraging you, discouraging you, and then reversing himself again and again until no one is sure. And when no one is sure, no one acts. And the initiative is back where it began. He's impregnable.
Today, where food is finest, it's cooked with gas. And here's Miss Julia Mead to show you why.
Hello. Look at my collection of famous menus. New York's Store Club, Chicago's Pump Room, Romanoff's in Hollywood, and Antoine's in New Orleans. They certainly bring back memories of wonderful meals. Meals, I'm proud to say, cooked with gas. In fact, 95% of all restaurants use gas. Here's why. Take chicken Rochambeau. Its delicate sauce must be cooked with the controlled heat that only gas can give. And you can have the same controlled heat in your home with this modern, sensitive burner with a brain. At the proper cooking temperature, the flame drops down, and food can't burn. Even this gas griddle is automatically controlled for perfect pancakes every time. Gas ovens are clock-controlled. They go on and off automatically. There's no doubt about it. Modern matchless gas ranges make you a better cook and help you automatically to better meals. And gas costs less to buy, install, and use. So visit your gas company or gas appliance dealer and
Congratulations, you delivered the report of the Central Committee most skillfully.
And what did you think of Comrade Stalin's remarks?
They had his usual virtues of brevity, clarity, and strength.
Also had no point, if you ask me.
The old man never speaks without a point. The absence of a point is a point itself, if you follow me.
I do, and where has it gotten me? Congratulations, my dear Beria, upon being a member of the Presidium of the Central Committee of the Communist Party. Whatever that is.
Yes, 25 members and 11 alternates. What is it indeed?
Do you like the looks of any of your new confreres?
They all look alike to me, hungry and ambitious. My dear Georgi, I beg of you, don't frown. Appear hearted. A man who is sober on a happy occasion is suspect.
The question remains, is this a happy occasion?
And what are you rascals up to now, eh?
My dear Khrushchev, that's not a question one asks lightly in the Soviet Union.
Not if you ask it, but I can ask it freely, eh?
Colonel, bring Comrade Khrushchev some vodka.
Bring some for the policeman and his friend. Perhaps a little vodka would loosen your tongue, eh?
Excuse me, I must congratulate Comrade Ponomarenko upon his election. Comrade.
Slippery customer, that man, huh, Lavrenti? You ought to keep your eye on him.
In my ministry, we keep an eye on everyone.
Oh, yes. Vigilance, vigilance. Oh.
We in the MVD must remain sober as well as vigilant.
Oh, vigilance. Your good health.
Please excuse me.
Beria is leaving now. Can't we go?
We can't leave. Stalin may be here any moment.
He is not going to be here this evening. That should be apparent to you. I hate all these people, and I don't want to talk to them. Those who don't look like murderers look like victims.
Pauline, lower your voice. No one may hear you.
I want to talk to you
I
now.
want no more of this sort of talk tonight.
There's Khrushchev bearing down on us. I won't talk to him. I detest that man.
Pauline.
Vyacheslav, my good fella. How pleasant to see you.
Yes.
Where's your police?
I believe she's gone to refresh us.
Oh, come have a drink with me.
No, I think not. I must find Pauline. Excuse me.
Your good health. Alexander Postrovitchev. Oh, my dear man. How pleasant to see you.
You're searching me for a pistol. I have none.
Oh, what an excellent sense of humor. Speaking of pistols and people who search for them, did you see, Beria scuttling out of here a moment ago?
I believe I did.
Yeah, he seemed on some urgent errand. But then Beria always seems to be under some urgent cause. He appears positively sinister. I never knew a policeman to look more guilty than the criminals he arrested. Oh, perhaps the old man has told him, huh? Perhaps. Well, you'd know if he had, huh? Your good health. Well, what do you think of the new presidium, eh? Curious, isn't it?
Curious? Why?
Well, all those obscure little provincial party figures. The old Politburo were understood. 11 members, old Bolsheviks, tested party leaders. Why this curious change? The new presidium has 25 members. Simple arithmetic tells me that Nikita Khrushchev is only 1/25th the man he was yesterday. What's brewing, Yalistan? What's them old men prepared, eh?
Don't you believe in the democratic basis of socialism, comrade?
I believe in the party, Alexander. I've worked hard to be where I am. Here we are, old Bolsheviks, old comrades, old friends of Stalin. And now where are we? What are we? Our councils are getting too crowded for my taste.
The burdens of government are heavy. Perhaps the old man wants to share them and thus spare some of his old comrades.
I do not ask to be spared.
I shall remember that.
Oh, good evening, madame.
So you don't believe Comrade Stalin will be here this evening?
One never knows, but I think not.
My Pauline has a slight headache, so we'll say good night. Come, my dear.
Good night, madame.
Comrade Molotov?
Vyacheslav.
Madame?
I thought he would divorce her 4 years ago when she made such a botch of her job.
Perhaps he loves her.
Loves her. I'm glad she's not my wife. She'll be in trouble again, you know.
You predict that so cheerfully.
Well, tonight I'm happy. Perhaps only 1/25th as happy as I was yesterday, but still happy enough not to weep for Molotov or his madame. You weep for them.
I weep for no one.
You will one day.
The only safe place to talk is in a moving car. Will you never learn?
Will you listen to me for one moment and stop treating me like a child in God's name?
Stop discussions in a crowded room at a time like this when matters are so delicate.
Then you do admit that there is something wrong. That this farce he calls the new Presidium can only mean more changes are coming.
Presidium, Politburo. These are names.
No, it is more than that, can't you see? You, Malenkov, Khrushchev, and the others. You have outlived your time.
Why do you class me with these men? Malenkov, Khrushchev. Malenkov's pushing careers. Khrushchev is a brute. And Stalin knows this. He said so.
Will you stop all his pretense? Can't you realize that to Stalin you are all alike? When the time comes
you're wrong. You see, there you're wrong. To him, I'm more than just another member of the Presidium. The others may call themselves old Bolsheviks, but they are not. Roshilov and I, we're the only ones who are left of the old guard.
The only ones left, dear God. Doesn't that description have any meaning for you?
Yes, it makes me proud.
Pride. That is what you have left after Stalin spat in your face. You used to be a man.
Insults when arguments fail.
No, Vyacheslav. I didn't mean to hurt you, believe me. Something is happening. Something is being changed, and this time it will be bad. Don't ask me for evidence, for signs. But I have the feeling that our time has run out.
Just what is it you expect me to do?
I don't know. But when he's gone, it will be too late. You must make certain now you will not be abandoned.
Abandoned by Stalin.
You have already been abandoned by Stalin. Malenkov made the Central Committee report, not you.
He plays games. A maneuver. I question just how important it really is.
It is impossible to get through that thick, self-satisfied skin of yours.
I must cling to what I know. I know my worth to Stalin, and so does he.
Vyacheslav, if there is any feeling left in you for me as your wife, please let us run, let us hide, let us do something before it is too late.
What are you talking about? Do you know what you're talking about?
I cannot go through it again, the nights and days of waiting and not knowing. I cannot.
Holly.
Have pity on me. Save us, save yourself.
Holly. I cannot trim my loyalty to every shift of circumstance. I've clung to the rock of Stalin. I'll never abandon him. Never. Just as he would never abandon me.
There is no hope for us. We are lost.
Good morning, Comrade Ignatieff. Good morning.
Comrade Stalin.
I see you brought your deputy with you. Good. What's your name?
Ryumin, Comrade Stalin.
Comrade Ryumin. Comrade Ignatieff, are you aware that there has been a plot by leading doctors against the lives of some of the Soviet Army's highest officers?
Doctors?
So-called men of science, but actually butchers, poisoners.
What? No, Comrade Stalin. I haven't heard.
Why not? You're our Minister of State Security.
Look here. Have you been withholding information from me?
No, Comrade Ignatieff. I
You are
swear
not responsible. This information was in the hands of Comrade Beria's ministry. Beria has not been vigilant in this matter. So I'm removing it from his hands and placing it in yours.
Comrade Stalin, you can be certain that every last one of the plotters will be unmasked.
We have reason to believe that these same doctors were responsible for the tragic death of Andrei Zhdanov in 1948.
I remember. He died under mysterious medical circumstances.
Exactly. The plot's enormous. Those responsible for it are, of course, Jews. The leading Jew physicians of the Soviet Union.
Like Professor Kogan and Dr. Ettinger.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're among the culprits. You know the Zionist madness of Jews.
They must have been working hand in glove with British and American intelligence. We'll root them out. I pledge you that we shall have confessions from each and every one of the guilty men. Now, if you will give us this information, we shall...
Information? You are to find it. Discover these things for us. Search the records.
I see. We shall get to work at once.
Excellent, Ignacio. Excellent. Keep me informed of the progress of your investigation.
Yes, Comrade Stalin.
Ignacio, this is a matter of great importance to me.
I can assure you, Comrade Stalin, that we shall give you quick results.
Comrade, shouldn't Comrade Stalin have given us that evidence?
What evidence? There is none.
You mean there's no doctor's plot? There's no evidence?
Of course not. He wants us to create it.
But why?
I don't know. But I do know he wants to get rid of Lavrenti Pavlovich Beria.
Beria?
I can tell you now what the pictures will look like on November 7th. Beria down. How far, I don't know, nor do I care.
And now a word from our alternate sponsor of Act One, Bristol Myers. Here are the three leading pain remedies. This one, called a combination of ingredients, the leading brand of aspirin, and Bufferin. All contain aspirin, but aspirin is acid, chemically acetylsalicylic acid. Added to the acid already in your stomach, it can cause overacidity and stomach upset. That's true of this one and this one. Only Bufferin adds to its aspirin the exclusive antacid dialmanate, which counteracts acid. No stomach upset. In fact, a recent test measuring stomach distress shows Bufferin 2 times better than this combination of ingredients type, 4 times better than the leading brand of aspirin. And unlike this remedy, no caffeine in Bufferin to jangle nerves and disturb sleep. To relieve pain, Bufferin acts twice as fast as aspirin for millions, and it's even faster for many others. So get fast, long-lasting relief without stomach upset, jangled nerves, and sleeplessness. Get Bufferin. And once again, Cliff Robertson.
After station identification, we shall return to Act 2 of The Plot to Kill Stalin. Written especially for Playhouse 90 by David Karp.
This is the CBS Television Network. Insurance companies.
What has it? Who wrote this letter?
A woman named Timashute on the medical staff of the Butkin Hospital.
Is she a doctor?
Well, not exactly. She's on the hospital administrative staff.
No, this will not do, Ignacio. Everyone in the Soviet Union knows you write letters to the MVD denouncing others for only one reason: Revenge yourself on personal enemies.
Yes.
This woman writes a letter
Yes, I know,
complaining...
but please, permit me to explain the value of this letter. High-ranking officers of the Red Army are treated by physicians at the Botkin Hospital. This woman, Timoshuk, is on the staff of the Botkin Hospital. Now, you can see, she specifically accuses the doctors of applying improper methods of medical treatment.
Good. Good.
And another thing, this letter was addressed to the MVD. The MVD took no action. You see what I'm moving toward?
How do you know the MVD took no action?
The official file of the MVD on this letter bears the notation, no action warranted. Now, this can easily be changed, so it will read, no action wanted.
Where did you get these?
I actually found them both in Berria's own files.
You found them?
Well, not I myself, but one of Berria's own staff. A loyal member of the party.
I see. You have a spy in Berria's organization.
Comrade Khrushchev, please.
What about the doctors?
Yes, I have here a complete list of the doctors I suggest should be arrested. Now, the moment Comrade Stalin approves, they will be taken into custody, questioned, and all will sign appropriate confessions.
Good.
Now, Alexander, I couldn't help noticing that Comrade Berria's photograph was well down in the displays.
Comrade Berria's not in favor.
No, but of course, I understood as much. Now, you know, of course, that Beria and I have been enemies for quite some time.
Have you? I didn't know.
What do you mean? It's common knowledge.
Is it? I wasn't aware of it.
Now, look here, Comrade Khrushchev, I can produce witnesses, documents. But once we almost came to blows in public.
You almost came to blows? In public? Oh, Ignatieff, you're the fiery one. Came to blows. Imagine.
I can assure you that Comrade Stalin is well aware of my feelings towards Beria. All I ask is that you refresh his memory on this point.
Comrade Stalin's memory needs no refreshing. Why do you think you were chosen to initiate this investigation? Because you are Beria's enemy.
You were having your little joke, I see.
Joke? I never joke. The parade is over. I suggest you leave as quickly as possible. Ignatieff. By the way, who's your contact in Beria's office?
A brilliant young man named Aninin.
Wonderful exhibition. Splendid group of young athletes, physically fit. Congratulations, Marshal. Thank you.
Alexander! There is something to warm the blood, eh?
I was ready to come in hours ago.
Don't tell anybody, but so was I.
Hold on. The eternal parade back to moving again. I'm chilled to the bone.
Stamp your feet. That'll wake you up. This isn't cold. Siberia was cold. I came back from Siberia, frozen as a frozen fish. My blood temperature had fallen below normal. Killed my consumption, left me alive.
We were all younger then. The blood was not as thin as it is now.
Youth has nothing to do with it. Strength. Now, you take push rubbish out here. A young man, old before his time. Not a muscle in them. Soft. All of you could stand some conditioning. Mussolini made his fat fascist colleagues jump over hurdles of rifles with fixed bayonets.
Oh, no.
I'd have a hard time if that were necessary.
You want the truth? None of us could make it.
We're not so young and strong anymore. The years have robbed us.
Who's not so strong? Are you talking to me? Oh, you bag of wind. Come here. I'll show you who's strong. One, two, three.
If you keep lifting Comrade Molotov above you, he may get grand ideas.
How much do you weigh, Vyacheslav? How much?
I weigh 70 kilos.
You're lying, you weigh more. I lifted that horse, Tito, 3 times. He didn't feel as heavy as you do.
I'd love to see Tito going over those bayonets.
Never mind about Tito. Look at you. A fine one to talk. That splendid group of young athletes goes by, and what do they see? This tub of lard. Oh, Ukrainian lard, no less. They make strong men in the Ukraine. Stronger, perhaps, even than in Georgia. And look at him. I'll bet you can't even dance your own people's dance.
Oh, I suppose I could if I had to.
Well, come on, dance with him.
No, no.
Dance it right here, right now.
Yeah.
Come on, you couple of guts.
No.
Dance it. Dance the whole back.
What a sorry dance. Bayonet. That'd get your fat rump in the air, wouldn't it? I'll be back. Don't let Khrushchev drink all the vodka.
Young man. Hope I haven't broken anything. Very third rate. My grandfather.
As an improvisation. Kill. Swallow it. Drink some water and swallow it. I'll give you the box.
Good news from Ignatieff. We found a letter in Beria's older files accusing certain doctors on the staff of the Botkin Hospital of using improper medical techniques.
You see?
Very important doctors.
You see, I have an instinct for these things. I wondered if they could be poisoning me.
Joseph Vissarionovich, you can't believe that.
Well, why not? Wouldn't it be a logical thing to do?
No doctor would dare, even if he were approached.
What leads you to believe they've been approached?
I didn't say they were. I said if they were.
I've never had a bad heart before. Why should I? My father had strength enough to flog a man to death. Why should I have a bad heart when I came out of a bull like that? They could be weakening my heart with their infernal pills.
Vissarionovich, it is one thing to manufacture a plot, it's another to believe...
Get away from me! You're a stupid man. You don't understand the enemies I have around me. Get away from me!
Shall I tell them you will be back?
Tell them all they can go to the devil. Poisoners. Butchers. They won't destroy me. Wolves. I'll destroy them.
Danny, Comrade Beria is here. You will speak to him now, won't you?
I'm sorry you're not feeling well. This letter and folder you took from my file. To whom did you give them? They were for Comrade Stalin's use. When did you give them to Ignatieff? November 4th. That was over a month ago. Yes. Are you tired? Yes, I understand. You'll be taken care of. You understand you brought this on yourself. Yes, yes. Now, you have done well. You've done well. What happened with our contact in Ignatieff's office?
She has heard nothing.
I don't like the look of it.
What about him?
Oh, have him sign a confession of espionage and have him sentenced to death.
What would Stalin want with such a letter?
I don't know. But something is being cooked that won't suit our taste. That's a certainty. But there's another certainty.
Yes?
Death comes to all men. To all men.
Allstate, the company that cuts red tape and high cost out of insurance, presents Ed Reimers.
Good evening. Recently, Mr. Robert M. Dunsford of Arlington Heights, Illinois, saved $45. Oh, yes. And 60 cents on his auto insurance. $5.60. Well, you can see why Mr. Dunsford switched to Allstate. In many states, policyholders are saving as much as 38% compared with rates charged by most other companies. How much you save, of course, depends upon the state where you live and how your car is used. Allstate saves people money by being modern, cutting red tape. Cutting red tape to pay claims fast, too. So, why don't you stop by the Allstate Insurance booth at Sears or an Allstate Insurance Center? Or just call us on the phone. You will find out why nearly 5,000 people per working day are turning to Allstate for protection. And remember, you're in good hands with Allstate.
Georgie.
Where are your men?
In the woods. I'm sorry this place is so filthy.
A place can be filthy and clean. Just as a place can also be clean and filthy, if my meaning does not escape you.
It is clean of recording devices, if that's what you fear.
I fear nothing. I'm beyond fear. I'm numb with bravery. Nevertheless, I must beg of you not to use my name when you speak. We're here under the most compromising of circumstances.
Agreed, I will not. That you are here is proof enough you trust me.
I'm still not sure whether I trust you or not. However, my life is forfeit in any case. Trust is the residue of hopelessness.
Exactly. I think I understand what the old man has in mind. He has aimed his campaign first at me. Now it has included Khrushchev, Ivanovich, Mikoyan, Molotov. There have been arrests in all of their departments and ministries. I'm convinced he intends to liquidate all of the old members of the Politburo, every single one of them.
Yes, I've come to the same conclusion. But there are still some missing factors. What about Voroshilov? And is the old man serious about Molotov?
Voroshilov's room was wired. Alexander Praskovich took care of that himself. And Pauline Molotov was arrested this morning.
I'm sorry for that woman. She'd probably sneer at my sorrow, but I have that feeling for her.
One by one, my own trusted aides have been removed for lack of vigilance. I think the pattern is clear enough.
Have you formed any estimate of the extent of the purge?
13,000 have been arrested so far, publicly announced, that is. I know for a fact there are at least that many more which were secret. In the Ukraine, all of Khrushchev's old party comrades have been removed. In Mikoyan's ministry, every department has been bled white.
And so slowly the knives turn upwards. What is your proposal?
You have a cigarette?
No.
I propose the liquidating of Joseph Vissarionovich Stalin at the earliest possible moment.
Yes. That conclusion follows logically. Have you made this proposal to anybody else?
No. You were the first who had the courage to meet me like this.
If I refuse you, to whom then will you turn?
Khrushchev. Although I should tell you that if you do refuse me, I shall kill you before I leave this room. A short distance from here, we are holding 3 of your men. At a signal, they will be brought here and shot with you. Within an hour, I shall be able to announce that you and your accomplices were found plotting the death of Comrade Stalin and resisted arrest.
Yes. Trust is the absolute residue. Put it away. I knew I'd refuse you nothing when I came here.
Of course, you are an intellectual, and intellectuals consider every aspect of a situation before they commit themselves.
Have you considered what's to happen after Comrade Stalin's removal? Who's to succeed him? Khrushchev?
Khrushchev, that boor. We will not have improved matters much if we consider him. No, not Khrushchev.
Yourself?
Myself? I'm not a very likely candidate. Who would ever believe I was the old man's successor? No. Why not the man who Stalin himself designated? The man who just 3 months ago delivered the Central Committee report to the 19th Party Congress. There wasn't a delegate in that room who didn't say to himself, Malenkov, Stalin has chosen you. If Stalin were to die today of natural causes, you would be his successor. We must preserve that natural order. You must be the one.
Will you speak to Khrushchev?
We don't need him.
Yes, we do. We need all the old members of the Politburo. If any refuse...
They must then be removed.
Yes.
I do admire your mind, Georgi. You go right to the heart of matters. That's why I shall never be able to say to you, check and mate.
The reason you've never won a chess, Lavrenti, is that there are no chess pieces for treachery. Kings, queens, pawns, yes, but no traitor. I must consider one day the invention of a new chess piece, the traitor. Using such a piece, you'll become a chess master.
I shall wait patiently for your new chess piece. I'm glad we're friends.
We're more than friends now. Now, let's go. I've been here long enough. You'll speak to Khrushchev?
As soon as possible.
Good.
You had 3 appointments this afternoon. Ambassador Bravo, Ambassador Menon, and a man from an Indian peace mission. The British ambassador is waiting to see you.
Well, let him wait.
Beria has had a private conversation with Khrushchev.
Oh? When?
At least a week ago.
Well, what happened?
We don't know that. We do know that Beria went to a great deal of trouble to conceal the meeting.
That is interesting. So they finally come together. I want them watched. Each and every one of them. I want to know where they go, who they see, what they do and say. And I don't want them to know they're being observed. So they've dared the worst. I knew they would someday. I knew it. You will ask Chief of Staff Stemenko here this evening. We'll find out if the Red Army High Command has been approached by these plotters. The wolves have delivered themselves into my hands.
Chief of Staff Marshal Stemenko is here, sir.
Good evening, Comrade Stalin. Alexander. Oh, well, you gave me a turn. I thought I was to see the old man.
You may speak to me as you would to him. Sit down. Sergei, we've uncovered a plot against the life of Stalin.
Genuine plot?
Absolutely. And we know who the plotters are. To avoid any further questions, they include most of the members of the old Politburo. Specifically, Beria, Malenkov, Khrushchev, Mikoyan, Bulganin, with tacit support from Voroshilov, Molotov, Kaganovich.
It's incredible.
I thought so, too. I know now it is not incredible. Since you are Chief of Staff of the Red Army, I should like to know your position.
What should my position be? I owe my appointment to Stalin. He's head of the state. I am loyal.
And the General Staff?
They will do as they are told.
We do not anticipate the use of troops. I don't think any of the plotters would dare precipitate a counter-revolution. But if by any chance things should reach a crisis stage...
I would see to it personally that they are arrested, tried by court-martial, and shot for treason.
Well said, Sergei.
A moment, Alexander. Why have you told me this? Why didn't Stalin?
Because I'm speaking in his behalf.
I'm not so sure that you are. How do I know?
This is his office. I am his aide.
Oh, it's not so simple.
Where is Stalin?
He is engaged elsewhere.
I demand to know where he is.
Why do you care?
How do I know that you're acting on his behalf? Perhaps you're acting for others to sound out my loyalties.
Suppose I were. Would you give me a different answer? Would you throw in with us against Stalin? Is that what you're suggesting?
No.
You've opened an interesting avenue of speculation here. Suppose I were sounding you out for someone else. Suppose I were to make it attractive enough for you to throw in...
Krushchev, I don't know what kind of devil's game you're playing with me. But whoever sent you, for whatever reason, I am loyal to Stalin, to my dying breath.
Stamenko, you wanted to know where Comrade Stalin is. He's in the next room. Why don't you knock at his door?
Comrade Stalin.
You heard? Clearly. I'm glad you didn't trust Krushchev. I don't trust him either. Good night, Sergei.
Good night, sir.
Worked out well.
They're all present?
Yes, sir. Generals Karnov and Govorov, Marshals Vasilevsky, Sukhov, and Sokolovsky.
Good. We are not to be disturbed.
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen. Last night, Comrade Stalin called me to his office. He informed me that there is a plot against his life concocted by members of the Politburo itself. Naturally, Comrade Stalin expects the loyalty, the support of the Red Army. Therefore, tomorrow we will all publicly testify. What?
My dear Sergei, we all remember too well the purges of the 30s, when over 70,000 of our officers were put to death.
So?
It is quite clear another such purge is in the making.
It does not concern the Army.
We intend to see that it does not.
Marshal Sokolovsky, I would like the meaning of that remark.
Sit down, Sergei. How dare you address me in that tone? I will do this without you. Red Army Day celebration takes place in Berlin in just 5 days. You will go to Berlin and attend the reception there.
By what right do you order the Chief of Staff of the Red Army?
You will, of course, resign as Chief of Staff before you leave.
Resign?
You're a young officer, Sergei. You still have a career ahead of you. Don't jeopardize it now.
You are the ones who are in jeopardy.
We are not doing this frivolously. Russia needs her army and her general staff intact.
And what of your allegiance to Stalin?
We owe our allegiance to the Red Army and to Russia. I don't care how many party members are destroyed or destroy each other in this purge, but no army officer of rank will be involved. We intend to give no provocation to either side.
And the plot? What of that?
We know of no plot. You will leave for the airport now. There is a plane waiting for you, Lieutenant General Stamenko.
When I walk out of here, if I should go directly to Stalin's...
Yes?
You are all dead men by morning.
I don't think Stalin wants to fight the Politburo and the army at the same time. Stalin knows how to retreat when he must, and when he does, he will abandon you to us. However, he may decide to defend you against the whole Red Army High Command. We are acting on our estimates of the situation. I advise you to calculate carefully and to act on yours.
And once again, Cliff Robertson.
After station identification, we shall return to Act 3 of The Plot to Kill Stalin, starring Melvyn Douglas, Eli Wallach, Oskar Homolka, E.G. Marshall, Luther Adler, Thomas Gomez, and Marion Seldes.
This is the CBS Television Network.
Playhouse 90, Act 3 of The Plot to Kill Stalin.
Talking. He says, what support have you for... Can't get it. Did you something about Semenko, or did you hear about Semenko? They're going to get rid of him. Khrushchev says we had nothing to do with that. That had to do with General Staff. I assume that the Army will not interfere, but I'm not sure. Bulganian says you must not assume. He's turned his back on me. You've got to signal them on the other side to pick this up. I can't read a man's lips if I can't see his face.
He's turned your way. We can't see him. Oh, good. Picking it up on the other side.
Sokolovsky and Beria have just joined them. Sokolovsky says, I hope you are having a pleasant evening.
Continue observing for the rest of the evening.
Bulganian says, my congratulations, Marshal, upon your new appointment. They're turning towards him now, and Sokolovsky's back is to me.
Quality of leadership in our high command is superior to any army in the world. Be careful of what you say. I believe we are being observed.
Let me also ask my congratulations, Marshal.
Thank you.
The hour is growing late. After breakfast. Will you excuse me?
Of course. Good night, comrade. I must leave, too. Good night.
Well, we can go together.
Your health, comrade.
I don't like the idea that we were observed.
Let him observe all he likes. His time is running out.
You've made all the contacts.
I didn't bother with Voroshilov or Molotov. They're old women, but everyone else understands.
In the Army, it's imperative that it remains neutral.
It will. But it would like to see us succeed. That's how I interpret.
Perhaps the old man was responsible.
Stomenko was his appointment. I think his replacement was done without the old man's knowledge or approval.
Nothing happens without his knowledge and approval. It's not so simple.
Who will execute the proposal I have already taken care of? That is, if it's agreeable with you, my dear Nikita.
It is agreeable. I leave that pleasant choice to you. I'm sure you'll find the proper person. You've vast experience with this sort of thing.
And as to Malenkov? Are we in agreement?
I thought that was the understanding.
Malenkov is a choice of sorts, and yet an intellectual, too soft, too verbal. He lacks that quality of leadership.
Had you any other thoughts?
A joint leadership? You and I without Malenkov.
Perhaps, but for now, Malenkov appears the expected choice.
Yes, of course. But we can defer that decision till later. However, bear in mind, Malenkov is not really suitable. I think I've taken care of all the details.
Excellent, excellent. You've thought of everything. I must congratulate you, Lavrenti.
Thank you. Now, as to just when, leave that to me. I'll wait for the right moment.
Before the end of the month.
So soon? Oh, yes, of course, you're right. The longer a conspiracy is in existence, the more likely it is to be uncovered. Easily before the end of the month. I admire your coolness, Nikita. You go right to the point.
It is not a matter of coolness or courage. It is simply a matter of weighing the probabilities and the possibilities against the certainties. We must proceed. We must proceed together. And we must proceed without delay.
Stalin?
I wasn't asleep.
Have you finished the report?
Yes.
We are continuing the surveillance.
To what purpose?
To establish the extent of the plot.
They're all in it. That's the extent of the plot.
Perhaps we can divide them.
No, they've come too far to be divided. They know now the army will not interfere.
We could force the army to reinstate Marshal Stamenko.
You deal with your enemies one at a time, Krushchev. When I've finished with these plotters, then I'll turn to the Red Army High Command.
Beria first.
Why Beria first? Why do you make that suggestion?
Because he controls the MVD. If the army will not be loyal, his is the only military force that can control matters.
Do you think that our plotters don't understand this? Beria's the first they will liquidate, because he's the only one with sufficient means to unseat them. Why should I destroy Beria for them? No, who is the strongest among them?
Malenkov. He has the most to gain.
No, Malenkov's an intellectual. They'll never let him rule. No. Who is the brute among them?
Nikita Khrushchev?
Ah, you have chosen the correct man. Khrushchev. He's the engine who can drive them. After I'm gone, Malenkov will be put in my place. Then Beria, because he's a threat to all of them, will be liquidated. Then Malenkov will go. And then the brute will come forward. And probably not alone, because he's still not sure of himself. But the moment he is sure of himself, and of his position, he'll stand alone. That is the pattern for the next decade, after they've murdered me.
Surely all of this is academic, Comrade Stalin. You're not going to be murdered.
No, I shouldn't like to be murdered, Alexander. After all, if I'm murdered, what would happen to you, huh?
I don't find the thought comforting.
Of course, if you put in with them, that might save you. Have you considered that, Alexander Krushchev?
I find that suggestion unpleasant, Joseph Vissarionovich.
That's no answer. Every man seeks to preserve his own life. Tell the truth. You considered it.
Of course not.
You're lying. You have. I can see it in your face.
As God is my witness.
God? God is a witness?
If it amuses you to provoke me, Comrade Stalin.
Poor devil. You don't have much to show for your loyalty, do you? You know, Alexander, in Scandinavia, the old custom was to bury the king with a dog at his feet. You will be my dog, Alexander, won't you?
We could have them all arrested.
Arrested? What for? I may be able to use some of them later on. Tomorrow, you will call to my office Comrade Beria, Comrade Malenkov, Comrade Khrushchev, and Comrade Molotov. When I've finished with them, I'll see how the others react.
I shall make arrangements to have them arrested as soon as they step foot into your office.
Oh, You're anxious to come to a climax, aren't you?
I've no stomach for waiting.
Patience is a hunter's weapon. You must know what your wolves will do before they know it themselves. If I judge them correctly, they will publicly denounce each other and then their fellow plotters. Wolves were made to destroy the weak. And when the weak are gone, they destroy one another.
And now a word from our alternate sponsor of Act 3, Kimberly-Clark.
Well, hello there.
Oh, no, not again. Doris, how can anyone enjoy TV with these paper napkins? All they do is slide right off your lap. Well, here we go again.
Pardon the intrusion, sir.
Must be eye strain.
Oh, no, sir. I'm Manners the butler. And won't you try one of these new Kleenex table napkins? They won't slide off your lap.
Well, might as well go along with this. Hey, look at that. Why, they cling like cloth.
And the Kleenex table napkin is so soft.
Yeah, and it doesn't have that stiff, papery feel.
Yet it's strong enough to last through any meal without shredding.
Just the right size, too. I can't get over this.
Yes, Kleenex table napkins won't slide off your lap. They cling like cloth. Thank you so much.
Oh, you too, Lavrenti.
Yes, I received the call just as you did. What is this all about?
Well, ask him.
I've already tried. Alexander Krushchev isn't saying a word.
Do you expect any others?
No, you are the only persons Comrade Stalin will see this afternoon. There are refreshments here for your pleasure. I shall tell him you're here.
Well, I had no afternoon meal.
You may have no evening meal either if you eat any of that. Caviar can be poisoned.
Why should anyone want to poison caviar?
Well, to poison the person who eats it, obviously.
Nikita, you're a boor, Khrushchev.
I'm a boor when I'm so to protect your large, soft person from harm. Food's been poisoned before. I'll spare you. I think he may have used that method once or twice himself.
Not I, my dear Nikita. You speak as a man with a guilty conscience.
Now, we Ukrainians don't stoop to poison. That's a woman's game. Or a Georgian's game.
Please, sit down, sit down. Make yourselves comfortable. I see none of you are hungry. Or thirsty.
Georgy Maximilianovich has decided to lose weight. He's actually going without meals.
Most commendable, my dear Malenkov. All of you could stand some conditioning. Tell me, Khrushchev, have you learned to dance the hopak any better?
I am practicing, comrade. I get better each day.
You weren't very good at it. You all saw him, didn't you? I brought you here to discuss with you my possible successor. It would be the height of vanity for me to ignore the fact that I'm growing old.
Georgians have a reputation for longevity.
There's some Georgians, not all of them. Many of them don't live as long as I have. The revolution deserves to be in the strongest hands possible. My strength is no longer what it was. I've suffered from certain physical weaknesses. I tire more easily. You spent your strength in the service of the party and of the people. But spent it I have. And it would be folly for me to ignore that I cannot fulfill a position of responsibility for which I no longer have the strength.
This is a very serious matter, comrade.
Of course. That's why I've chosen you four to discuss it with me. I consider you the ablest men in the Presidium.
Are you considering that one of us might succeed you?
One or two or all of you.
Collective leadership?
Yes, possibly.
Has its advantages.
And its disadvantages.
Russia is surrounded by enemies. We're at war now. On the one side, Tito is our enemy. Behind our backs, Mao Zedong is a potential enemy. The United States is surrounding us with their air bases. Our atomic research continues. Our budgets for war increase every year. When they've had their economic crisis, they will try to solve their difficulties by going to war. Now, what plans have you made to fight this war? Now, today.
Foreign Ministry, we have plans.
You failed in your plan to amalgamate the collective farms to feed my armies. Where are the agricultural cities you promised us?
Well, the peasants have to eat.
And you?
What they can feed us.
What have you done about this vicious plot aimed at the Soviet High Command? Why was Semyon Ignatiev's ministry responsible for unmasking these Jewish medical poisoners? Whom were you protecting?
I protected no one. The investigation was taken out of my hands.
You, babbling behind my back, telling others Stalin is too hard. We must soften life for everyone. Do you see a fat paradise of a Russia with everyone as soft and satisfied as yourself? Is that your idea of fighting a war now? And you, weakling, whining to me that my policy is too hard, that it goes too far. Your nerves may be gone. Mine are not. Criminal incompetents such as you are not fit to be members of the party. And you are not merely incompetents. You are assassins.
Why, this is more...
Assassins! You think I don't know of your plot? Kill the old man and divide the power among you. That's what's behind your lying faces! Well, how do you hope to accomplish it? With knives? With poison? Well, here I am. Here! I'm 73 years old. I've held this nation in my hands, and I've never been afraid. And I'm not afraid now. If you have revolvers, use them now. If you have daggers, use them now. I'm alone with you. There's nothing to fear. Stab now. Shoot now.
Joseph, he's shouting out.
You'll never have again an opportunity so perfect. Shoot! Shoot! You filthy scum! You dirty trick!
Please!
Medicine. Medicine.
Stop! Stop! A doctor, quick! Somebody, a doctor! Stop! Stop!
Water, get water quickly. Help me lift him. We act quickly, we can't save him, we can't save him. Help me lift him. Up. You swine!
Beria, close the door. Alexander Proskrovichev, if you raise your voice, you'll die with him.
You've done it. You've actually done it.
They've done nothing. He's had a stroke, apparently. He didn't lift a finger against him. Leave him alone. Vyacheslav, bring a coat to cover him. It's cold in here. He's still alive?
He's still alive.
Get up from here and take a seat. We'll have to wait for a while. Alexander Proskrovichev, do you want to live?
Not if I must murder him.
No one spoke of murder. You haven't harmed him.
You're murdering right now, this moment. You are delaying the proper medical treatment.
We are thinking of our country's welfare, of the safety of our party, of the safety of our people.
This seizure of his could have come at any time. It came now. We'll do all in our power to save him. I promise you.
Our country cannot afford to be led by a dying man. Think over it. He will not govern again. As of this moment, the effective head of the state is Comrade Georgy Maximilianovich Malenkov. Are you agree? Beria.
I am in agreement.
And you, Vyacheslav?
Anything you say.
Good.
Alexander Poskrovitchev, I regret that you refused to work with us in this moment of crisis. Close arrest in his quarters.
I'll take great care of him. Congratulations, comrade.
We wish you to do all in your power, Doctor, as medical specialists, to save his life. We are fully aware, however, of his advanced age, his poor health, and the gravity of this stroke. If he should die, I promise you that no investigation will be made of your attempts to save him. As the senior medical doctor, I am placing you in full charge.
I understand.
I repeat, Doctor, he is an old man. If you cannot save his life, well, science, even modern Soviet science, has its limits. Have you any questions, Doctor?
When did Comrade Stalin suffer this stroke? How long ago was it?
I don't think that question has any relevancy. I suggest you step in and see your patient now, Doctor.
What is his condition?
His blood pressure is high. His heart action is poor. Extremely poor.
They don't want him to survive.
What?
I have lived with this all day. It is too much for me. I had to share it with someone.
What can we do?
We shall have to do our utmost to keep him alive as long as possible. But God protect us if he lives. Comrade Malenkov.
Yes, Doctor.
I regret to inform you that Comrade Stalin is dead.
Thank you, Doctor. I'm sure you and your colleagues did all that was scientifically possible. I feel sure we're all in agreement that the medical bulletins can now be released in the order in which they were written. The official date of Comrade Stalin's death is March the 5th. I suggest that we all go in and pay a final visit to Comrade Stalin. I don't understand. Are you sure?
No question about it, Comrade. Beria's men have Moscow completely surrounded.
And the Kremlin as well? Nikita and I are in agreement. We don't wish to see Comrade Krushchev after the funeral. By the way, it seems as though your troops have surrounded the city. We don't understand why.
I thought there might be some disturbances. Purely a precautionary measure, I assure you.
Oh, yes, precautionary. It wouldn't be that you've decided that Comrade Malakoff is too intellectual, too soft, and too verbal.
Well, that Comrade Khrushchev is too great a boor to create policy.
Comrades, I hardly thought you'd distrust me. After all, we planned this moment, didn't we?
Wolves were made to devour the weak. And when the weak are gone, they devour one another. They will devour one another.
And once again, Cliff Robertson.
Next week, Playhouse 90 will present Days of Wine and Roses, an original teleplay written especially for this series by J.P. Miller. Appearing with me in this unusual drama will be Piper Laurie and Charles Bickford. This is the story of two people who struggle against a terrifying reality, trying to protect their love, their dignity as human beings, their very lives, from the thing that threatens to destroy them. Here are scenes from Days of Wine and Roses. You made more trips to the well tonight than anybody, except maybe me. Where are you storing that stuff?
Hollow egg. Hollow leg. Do you ever try to say that?
No, not lately. At least I put ice in my drinks.
Ice hurts my teeth.
She's in bad shape, Joe. You gotta come get her out of this dump. She won't let me...
Dick Joy speaking. Portions of the preceding program were pre-recorded. Playhouse...